Hey everybody, this is Dr. Chris Nelson here, and today I want to talk to you about a really cool case on a patient with a very collapsed bite that wanted a restored smile before he retired, and it was time for his turn to fix his teeth. So let's take a look. So I want to introduce you to a patient named Ken. He's a very nice guy. He's a small business owner. He made a point to explain to me that he has worked really hard and he's taken care of his family for his lifetime, and he has a smile that he was never really proud of, and now he is wanting to finally fix his teeth. Now, he's been a patient for a long time, and we've talked about it over and over. And, we went back and forth and we did our comprehensive treatment planning. And, we learned that Ken really was debating about whether or not to straighten his teeth before fixing them. Now, there's no question that his bite is very collapsed. And what do you do when there's a bite that has, no vertical and needs to be restored? Well, a lot of times that means you have to restore all of the teeth to fix the issue. So if you look at it, there's so much collapse. If you imagine just fixing the right side, then there's going to be an opening on the left side, and vice versa. And if you just fix all the top teeth and not the bottom, you might end up with a bite that has the current shape but just taller on one side. So in this particular case, we presented an option of, we can do orthodontics first, we can move your teeth, and then we can restore them, or we can attempt to not do the orthodontics. Now that was a really big sticking point for Ken, and he really wanted us to try to restore the teeth with no orthodontics. So we took our records. At the time, we were using physical impressions instead of our scanner. We submitted that to our lab, Forrester Dental Lab in Shasta Lake. They opened the vertical by waxing up the teeth, and I asked them to do their best to not compromise the bite and try to straighten the teeth. The main issue was really the lower teeth because there's quite a bit of crowding. But we ended up getting the wax up back, and our first step was to have Ken come back and do what we call a smile design or a smile preview or a mock-up. So we ended up having him get to try in the teeth. So how do we do that? You take an impression of the wax up, you put some temporary crown material, put that in the mouth, and then let that set, and then take it out and trim it up a little bit, and then you can see a idea of what the crowns would look like, and check an idea of what the bite would be like, and look in the mirror and look in person and just kind of get an opinion. So right off the bat, Ken's smile was dramatically different just with the mock-up. In fact, if you look at his photo of his smile, it was way more natural with the mock-up in place, and it was just remarkable. And Ken was not a guy known for smiling. He would tell us, he's like, I don't smile in pictures. I'm not a big smiler. Okay, so that was really crazy, and there was some emotion involved in just doing the smile design. So we knew we were pretty much on the right track. We confirmed with him what we were going to do, and then I ended up making a custom menu for his appointment, his prep day. In his particular case, we decided that we would restore part of the teeth first and the other part second. And so we identified some of the teeth that we wanted to restore, the front teeth mostly, a couple of the premolars, and then a second visit for the back teeth. So our prep day, we followed a menu that I created, and I do this for all of my cases that are highly complex. I make a menu and I print it out and I put it right next to the patient, and then as I go through the case, I just write the time down that I was at, and that's a really good chart note. It's good documentation, and then I don't have to remember the 75 steps between the beginning of the appointment and the end of the appointment. And these appointments can be pretty long and intense, and so it's easier and better, in my opinion, to just have that all laid out. So we made the menu, we had prep day, and we prepped the front teeth, and then we delivered temporary crowns. And you'll also see that we did a stick bite for our horizon. I believe we also used a fox plane. So we did a couple different things, but we were also working entirely in the analog world for this particular case. So you'll see a picture with lots of stuff on the counter, impressions and such. So he had his temporary crowns. In this case, I did not do custom temporary crowns. In cases since, I pretty much always do my chairside temporaries, custom temporaries, and then the final crowns. But in this case, we just did chairside temporaries off of the wax up. And then he came back for the second visit to deliver the front teeth crowns, and then I prepped the back teeth. And what you'll also notice, he was missing tooth number 12 and 13, and so during the treatment phase, he had, I believe, a sinus lift and an implant placed, and then we had to determine how to restore that two-tooth space, and we determined with Team Perio that there was not quite enough space for 2 implants. We also used a tissue former, or like a custom healing abutment, to change the shape of the gums to get the emergence profile proper for the implants. So we ended up placing a single implant and doing something called a cantilever, where you have an implant and then 2 teeth, or like 1.5 teeth worth of restorations to fill in that space. And so at the end of the day, we were able to seat the implant with the cantilever number 12 and 13. The third working visit, we delivered the back teeth. We had all the crowns seated, and overall, everything turned out really well. Post-operatively, we did have a couple crowns debond, but we were able to fix that. And that speaks to the relationships that we want. We want long-term relationships with our patients, and we're there for people if there were any issues. I think what happened with those is we had a little bit of a moisture contamination on seating of the crowns because they were bonded, and that's usually, unless the tooth breaks, that's usually the only scenario where the bond, in our experience, where the crown comes off, is if it was a contaminated or bad bond. But anyways, overall, the case was really great. We've had him in multiple times for cleanings, and he's just a happy guy. He smiles a lot more, and that's just so fun. And it was just really fun to help Ken and watch his smile transform. And I don't think that we helped him become a different person, but I do think that we helped unlock some inner happiness with being able to be confident with his family and also with his business. So even on a hard day, he can give a customer a nice smile, and maybe that makes it a little bit better. So overall, thank you for checking it out. That's how we approached it. If you have any questions or comments, leave it in the comments. I'll answer them, and hope you enjoyed checking out a great case, a fun case, and a lovely opportunity to help Ken. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.